right, here we are on KnicksNow.com. It's time for a scouting report with the Boston Celtics coming to town. Assistant Coach Jim Todd is here to break it down. First of all, Rajon Rondo returns, so obviously they change. How now do they look on the floor with that floor leader on there?
You know, he's trying to get comfortable, just like you saw with us when we started to get some of our guys back. I think he's been on a limited minutes restriction. I've heard it's been about 5-minute stints and trying to save him, coming on the stretch of a close game. So he might be up to 25 minutes, but by the time we play him tomorrow, it could be more. No, I think he's trying to get more comfortable. Last night was his best performance, I think, so far to date, and he looks like he's starting to get his legs underneath him.
Do you think without those guys, those big guns with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, that he's going to be able to be the dominant point guard that they need him to be, or is that going to be sort of a process in the future to surround him with the necessary pieces?
I think it's a little bit of both. I'm sure he's looking to take a little bit more of the load on himself and on his shoulders, now and early. But as time goes on, if he does stay there, there's talk about him being traded and whatever. If he stays, with Boston, I'm sure they're going to try to build a team around him.
I've always wondered this about him. He's not really a jump shooter. He doesn't create his shots necessarily. Within the flow, he finds a way to get to the rim. But how do you defend a guy like that? He's such a great passer and playmaker, but not necessarily an offensive scorer. So what's a defensive game plan?
Well, you got to be careful with that when you go into these games and you look at the stats, you try to play the numbers. We as coaches hate to say, and we almost never say, oh, so-and-so, player A, he's only shooting 18% from three-point range, so he can't shoot the three. Well, they all can shoot it. Right. He goes and hits 5 or 6 against you. Your head coach is going to take your head off. So, lots of times people go under the pick and roll on him. I'm sure we might do a little bit of that tomorrow, but you can't sleep on him or anybody else. NBA players, they can knock those shots down, and he can do that. And he played much better yesterday, and he hit a few threes yesterday. For
sure. And you look at Boston and what they've done in the past with Doc Rivers, always a defensive-minded team. This year they're in the top 10 in terms of points allowed. What are they doing so well on the defensive end of the floor?
Well, they've gone with the bigger lineup. They just switched to, they got Wallace, playing at the 2 now, and Green at 3, and then they can go with Humphries or Bass and Sullinger, 2 of those 3, and they're probably going 9 deep. So, with that type of a lineup, they can switch a lot more. They force the pick and roll down on the side, and if they want to switch, 1 through 4, they can do that pretty easily.
How about your ball club? Obviously, Melo. 62. We didn't get a chance to talk to you after that. What was your reaction to that game and being on the sidelines for a contest like that?
Well, I'll tell you my reaction was it's the first time I was on the other end, when we were giving it to somebody else. Yeah. And I've been, I hate to admit it, but I was on the bench in Toronto when Kobe got 81. I was on the bench in Clipperland when it was Shaq's birthday, and he got 60 or 61 or whatever he got. So it was.
Was that the year that he tried to beat out David Robinson for the scoring title, or he won the scoring title in the last game? Was that?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Keith Kloss was guarding him, and he was. The two of them didn't see eye to eye, and he decided to take it to him. And I said to Keith, don't wake up a sleeping giant, so to speak. And Shaq went off. So it was great to see Melo do that. We've been struggling, as everybody knows, as a team, and I know the fans have been frustrated at times. So it was nice to have a good night and get the garden going. And I think that gave us a little bit more electricity, to go into the next game. And hopefully, we're trying to build on that right now.
Was it similar in the sense of Kobe's 81? It's so hard to put yourself in the shoes of an opposing coach or a player on the floor and seeing that happen and trying to understand, wow, this guy is going to put up a gigantic number.
Yeah, you kind of knew at the end of the quarter that he was hot. But Kobe's thing was a little bit different. He was almost taking the ball out of bounds. I think he tried to pass it to himself sometimes and take the ball and go 94 feet. But
is that an assist?
But try to get an assist and a basket at the same time. But Melo had to depend on the rest of his team. They did a great job of feeding him. Of course, Charlotte started to double team him a little bit more coming on the stretch. And where it was a blowout game, I think that made it hard for our guys and for Melo and for Woody, because we weren't trying to rub salt into the wound, we knew he was close, and he was on that record pace, and we wanted to get him the last few baskets to get that record.
You pleased with Cole Aldridge and Jeremy Tyler and what they've done in the absence of your bigs, Bargnani, Martin, and helping out there, especially to Stoudemire out?
No, definitely. The two bigs and those two young kids have played two fairly good games now back-to-back, and they've gotten a little bit more comfortable. And they're both different players. Jeremy's a little bit more offensive-minded. Cole's probably more defensive-minded, more of a role player. And we talked to them about they might be in playing together. They've gone against each other now for 4 or 5 months. But to see them play well and play together was pretty good, and we're going to need that for a little bit further coming down the line here.
All right, finally, I have to get it. Your Super Bowl pick, a switcher hat to the football analyst. Seattle or Denver?
I didn't even know who was playing. No, I'm going to go with Denver. I'm going to go with Manning.
It's a smart man. You know why?
Why?
Denver native, right here.
There you go. That's why I picked him.
There he is, JT. We always love having him on the Scouting Report, football and basketball. Thank you so much.
We do it all here.